Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about a company that was rejected, laughed at, and nearly went bankrupt before completely destroying the industry that tried to ignore them. This is the story of Netflix. And the most incredible part? It all started because one guy was too embarrassed to tell his wife about a late fee. So let's go back to 1997. Reed Hastings rents a VHS tape of Apollo 13 from Blockbuster. He forgets to return it. The late fee? $40. He's so embarrassed that he hides it from his wife. And on the way to the gym that day, he starts thinking, why does renting a movie have to work like this? Why late fees? Why driving to a store? Why limited selection? That embarrassment turned into an idea. And that idea turned into Netflix. Reed Hastings teamed up with Mark Randolph, and in 1997 they launched Netflix as a DVD rental service by mail. No late fees. No due dates. You pay a flat monthly fee, they mail you DVDs, you send them back whenever you want. Simple, clean, customer-friendly. But here's something most people don't know. In the very early days, Netflix was struggling badly. DVD players were still expensive and most Americans didn't even own one. The market was tiny. Revenue was slow. The company was burning through cash. And the idea of mailing DVDs seemed bizarre to most people. So in the year 2000, Reed Hastings flew to Dallas. He walked into Blockbuster's headquarters and offered to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster laughed at him. Literally laughed. Their executives thought Netflix was a joke. A niche service for tech nerds. Nothing that would ever threaten their empire of thousands of stores and billions in revenue. Reed Hastings flew home with nothing. No deal. No money. Just a rejection. That rejection became one of the most expensive mistakes in business history. Because instead of giving up, Netflix went back to work. They improved their recommendation algorithm. They made the subscription model better. They grew their DVD library. And then in 2007 they did something that changed everything forever. They launched streaming. No more waiting for DVDs in the mail. No more physical discs. Just instant access to thousands of movies and TV shows directly on your computer. At the time it seemed like a nice extra feature. Nobody realized it was about to reshape the entire entertainment industry. The timing was perfect. Broadband internet was spreading fast. People were spending more time online. And suddenly the idea of watching anything you wanted instantly without leaving your couch was not just convenient. It was irresistible. Blockbuster tried to respond. They launched their own online service. But it was too late. They were carrying the weight of thousands of physical stores, billions in debt, and a culture that couldn't move fast enough. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. The company that had laughed at Netflix in the year 2000 was gone. Netflix was just getting started. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Because Netflix didn't just win by being convenient. They did something much smarter. In 2013, they released House of Cards. Their first original series. And this wasn't just a TV show. It was a statement. Netflix wasn't just a place to watch other people's content anymore. They were creating their own. They were becoming a studio. And they didn't make this decision randomly. They used data. Netflix had millions of subscribers and they could see exactly what people watched, when they paused, when they rewound, what they searched for. Their data told them that their users loved political dramas, loved David Fincher as a director, and loved Kevin Spacey as an actor. So they combined all three and made House of Cards. Traditional TV networks had no idea what their audiences actually wanted. Netflix knew exactly. And that data advantage gave them a weapon that no traditional studio or network could match. House of Cards was a massive hit. Then came Orange is the New Black. Then Stranger Things. Then The Crown. Then Squid Game. One after another, Netflix was producing some of the most watched content on the planet. By 2016, Netflix was available in over 190 countries. They had gone from a small DVD mail service in California to a global entertainment empire in less than 20 years. But then came the challenges. Because success always brings competition. Disney launched Disney Plus. HBO launched HBO Max. Apple launched Apple TV Plus. Amazon had Prime Video. Suddenly Netflix wasn't the only streaming game in town. The same disruption they had done to Blockbuster was now being done to them by the biggest entertainment companies in the world. And in 2022, something shocking happened. Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in over a decade. The stock price crashed by more than 70% in a single year. Analysts were declaring that the streaming wars were over and Netflix had lost. Sound familiar? A dominant company facing disruption. Everyone counting them out. But Netflix responded. They cracked down on password sharing, which had been bleeding them billions. They launched a cheaper ad-supported subscription tier to attract new users. They doubled down on international content, bringing in massive hits from Korea, Spain, Germany, and beyond. And they invested heavily in live events, sports rights, and interactive content. Within a year, they were growing again. Adding subscribers faster than ever. The stock recovered. And once again, the people who had declared Netflix dead were proven wrong. Today Netflix has over 300 million subscribers in more than 190 countries. They spend over $17 billion every single year on content. They have completely transformed how the world consumes entertainment. And they are still the undisputed leader of the streaming era they created. From a $40 lay fee to a $300 billion company. So what can we learn from Netflix? First, frustration is the birthplace of innovation. Reed Hastings didn't sit in a boardroom trying to invent a business. He was frustrated by a broken system and decided to fix it. The best businesses in history almost always start this way. Second, data beats intuition every time. Netflix didn't guess what their audience wanted. They knew. They built systems to understand their customers at a level that no traditional company could match. And that knowledge became their greatest competitive advantage. Third, your biggest rejection might be your greatest gift. Blockbuster rejecting the $50 million offer forced Netflix to keep building. If that deal had gone through, Netflix as we know it would never have existed. Sometimes the door closing in your face is the best thing that ever happens to you. And fourth, disruption never stops. Netflix disrupted Blockbuster. Then Netflix got disrupted by everyone else. The companies that survive are the ones that keep adapting, keep innovating, and never assume that today's success guarantees tomorrow's. Netflix's story isn't really about streaming or movies or television. It's about what happens when a company refuses to accept that things have to stay the way they are. When frustration becomes fuel. When rejection becomes motivation. And that's a lesson for all of us. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. Every week we break down how the world's most iconic companies were built, almost destroyed, and came back stronger than ever. The stories never run out. See you in the next one.